So I'm doing my daily speaking into the camera challenge. I've been feeling quite annoyed because there's a guy right next to me using a circular saw. Pretty fucking annoying. But I'm just going for it anyway. And if he interrupts me, it's a test of my patience. It's something I gotta deal with. The goal is to speak very naturally, very much authentically, and to see how it is to express myself without a filter, I guess, or without really changing who I am or what I want to say. We're doing this challenge with a few other people. A few of my friends organized this, and they're all making content, and so I thought it was a really nice way to be accountable. So I joined the challenge. It's quite interesting. I'm definitely self-conscious about, I think, my housemates, but maybe they're not home actually. I think I might be home alone right now, which is cool. It's helpful. So I got my steak here, and it's tenderloin. Tenderloin is pretty medium tasty. I'd say it's not my favorite, but it's definitely very lean, which means that it helps for my physique. Meaning there's not so much fat, but there's a lot of nutrients because it's grass-fed tenderloin steak, so that's really good. Yeah. It's the flag season right now. So the Balinese, they make flags. It gets windy in the season, so they fly the flags and they keep them up all night in some cases. And they put up lights on the flags, so you'll see like a bunch of random lights in the air at night, and you wonder what they are, and then the next day you realize, oh, it was those kites. I've no idea if I'm going to post this. I'm wondering, like, should I cut out a little bit, or should I just post a whole lot of me randomly babbling? I'll probably not post this, but I might. Who would watch it? I have no idea. I have no idea who is going to watch me not really say much at all. I'm about to go to this network meeting. This guy here organizes network meetings. It's like a dinner, and everyone goes around the table and says what they're looking for at the moment and what their skills are, what they're doing, and he does it in a bit of a spiritual way. So it's more about for the spiritual community here, people who are coaches and sell retreats and yoga teachers, and they call it conscious community. It's like the tantra people, all sorts. There's also some artists there, so it's actually a very nice experience. I went there last time, and I immediately met some nice creative individuals who I connected with after. Yeah, I just did my teeth. I finished my Klar, Invisalign. I did the Indonesian version of Invisalign. What I realized is you need a good orthodontist. You don't it doesn't matter what brand of aligners you have, as long as your orthodontist is good, then you're fine. And Klar was quite good. I got decent results. Obviously, I'm eating this right now, so it's not very charming to open my mouth, is it? It's funny, I've been with the modeling stuff, it's very interesting what that does to your perception of yourself and your image and how you look, getting in front of the camera and especially sharing it with other people. It sets you off on this mental process where you start to discover kind of what you look like and who you are, and it's this journey of accepting who you are. So I started about a year and a half ago. I decided, okay, that's something I want to try. And of course, I did work to improve my look. My overall appearance is definitely better just through some stuff that you can look up on YouTube. It's called looks maxing. I got a tan. I got a better muscular physique. So not just built muscles, but I built muscles in the right places. Yeah, just the sun and the training, my body really made a big difference, I'd say. And for the physique, for the muscles part, sleep and diet were very, very important to get a hang of. So I really focused a lot on sleep, and so meaning recovery, giving your body a good time to recover. And I also focused a lot on diet. So for months, I tracked exactly what I ate, every single meal, everything on my plate. I put it into a meal tracker, which kind of keeps track of my calories, my macronutrients, meaning, how much protein did I have, how much carbs, and how much fat, also sugar. But that's not really a macronutrient. Those first three are macronutrients. And through that, I learned how to control my body composition, meaning I kind of control how much I weigh. That's not body composition, by the way. Your weight is your weight, and then your body composition is what percentage is fat, what percentage is muscle. So I learned how to control how much muscle I have versus fat. And if you want to look aesthetic, your fat has to be as low as possible, obviously within reason, you don't want to get too skinny. And your muscle has to be then relatively high. But actually, you don't need to be overly bulky to have an aesthetic physique. You just have to have some muscle in the right places and then get very lean, meaning very low fat percentage. So that was mostly what I did last year. And then this year, I realized that I'd neglected my spinal strength or mobility for a while. So because of the weight training, I was actually doing a lot of mobility training, but something about how I was training just put a lot of pressure on my mid-spine, where I have a slight scoliosis, meaning my spine is a little bit bent, like that. And yeah, so this year I've had to not take a step back from weight training, from strength, but more focus, okay, so what's the next step? Because what I've noticed with training is if you want to get to the next stage, often you run into these roadblocks. These roadblocks, they consist of your physical limitations. So maybe you have some weaknesses in your body that are specific to you, some weaknesses in your shoulders, and that's only going to show up if you try and attempt to get stronger and more muscular. If you don't do anything, if you're sitting on the couch all day, it's not as likely to show up. And so last year, having brought my body to the next level in terms of aesthetics, it brought up some new challenges for my joints, mainly my mid-spine, where I already had issues, but it kind of exacerbated that. So it's been quite challenging to find what's causing it for me. But I recently went and saw a guy called Ash. He, back in the day during COVID, when we were all at Nirvana Strength, there was a whole load of athletes, like really advanced calisthenics athletes and strength people, training every day at Nirvana. They would stay like 5 to 8 hours a day, eat, train some more. And this guy Ash, he was a part of that crew, and everyone used to go to him for these bodywork sessions, meaning you go to him, you lay on a bed, and he would like poke his fingers in places you didn't want to be poked. I know you've got a dirty mind, but it wasn't that. No, he would like look for these knots in your let's say in your rib cage or in your, what do you call that, diaphragm, for example. And he would just like massage them out, but it's really fucking like, oh my God, very, very intense therapy. So yeah, he did that to me a few weeks ago, mostly my diaphragm and my ribs. My ribs were sore for a week after that. And he gave me a set of new exercises to do. So I had to do a lot of twisting, kind of awkward spine mobility movements. And actually it's loosened up my spine a lot. I still don't feel like I've got to the core of my problem, but it's getting there. And he says it's a non-linear progression, meaning that you have to just keep doing it, and then eventually it'll kind of all click into place. So I'm going to try it for like 6 to 8 weeks, do all those things he told me to do twice a week, pretty intensively, and see what happens, and then I'll reassess. It's quite expensive for the session, but I do like to pay for the best people I can find, because what I've noticed is when you go to some mediocre therapist, whether it be mental or physical therapist, you're usually not really getting to the root of any issues, and you're just wasting your time. Maybe you improve a little bit, but I've noticed when you go to the real experts and you pay a bit of money, you invest in yourself, you end up getting exceptional results, and those are worth, maybe you pay double or triple for a session, but it's worth 10 times as much. Because think about, if you go to this mediocre guy, he gives you some mediocre exercises, and you waste a year trying to do those exercises, you don't really get anywhere, you still have the problem. Versus you go once to this guy, he gives you the right exercises, and you solve your problem within a few months. So how much more is that worth? Maybe 10, 20 times more, and you've only paid 3 times the fee. So, and obviously it's not always the case that the more expensive ones are good, so you have to get good referrals, but it's always a clue if you see professionals, like I was seeing other athletes go and get treated by this guy. So really serious athletes paying their money to go and see this guy. For me, that was pretty obvious. signal that he's good, and this is good referrals, really. But not just the referrals that you see online. It's like, look at the behaviors. Are these people actually going and following his advice, or have they been hyped up to make this video review in exchange for some money? And is that why you're now going to see this guy? Yeah. In a lot of cases, I think the testimonies that people post, I wouldn't fully believe them. I would rather go on, when I'm selecting a teacher or a therapist or something, I dig a bit deeper and I speak to them and get face-to-face referrals from, or at least get on a call with someone who's worked with them and ask some questions, some really questions that are going to pierce through any bullshit marketing nonsense. Because you, at the end of the day, if you're going to pay someone for something, you're looking for a result, and you need to make sure you're going to get to that result as fast and as cost effectively as possible. You know? Hey. So we've got a little cat here. Cute little cat. Magic. It's called Magic. Monty, the guy who owns the lease on this place, he doesn't like Magic, because Magic pulls over the bin every time he comes. Every night you'll wake up and the bin is just like completely emptied out over the floor. So Mr. Magic here, he's a bit of a nuisance, aren't you? Do you want to come and say hi? Hey. And now he knows there's food here, doesn't he? Do you want a little bit? Hope Monty doesn't see this. We'll give him a little bit. It's probably a terrible decision. I think he's got a bit stronger, bigger since last time, so he's probably found a more generous villa. There you go. Oh yeah. It's just me eating steak by myself, talking to you, wherever you are in the world. It's funny, really. So anyway, I've been noticing I'm getting some wrinkles when I smile. But I know which muscles to flex in my face to make it seem like I've got a facelift. But I'm not fooling anyone, am I? I'm getting old. I'm getting old. Older and mean. I think I'm going to be a pretty... If my life goes well, I'm going to be a really, really miserable, grumpy old man. Sorry, the other way around. If my life goes really poorly, I'm going to be a pretty grumpy old man. But if it goes really well, I think it'll be awesome. I'm going to be wrinkly as fuck and cheerful as fuck, because I don't really care that much about my appearance. Of course I care a lot about my appearance. What the fuck am I talking about? But my point being is I grew up thinking that I was basically really ugly. Yeah, because there were a few moments in my life where it was, of course, there were some kids who just called me ugly because they were being annoying, but they just wanted to insult me. They didn't really think I was ugly, or maybe they did, but it doesn't matter. But I took that to heart, and then there was another time when I was watching this TV series, and I thought that, and I saw it was these S Club 7, and I had this massive crush on the girls in that TV show. It's a kid show, and I saw the girls point at the guy, and they was like, "He's cute," and I understood that these girls, they like the guy, right? And cute means you like the guy. So I went up to my mum and I said, "Mummy, I'm cute." But I was like 8 by that time. So in terms of like, are you cute like a baby but at the age of 8? No, you're not. You're not cute anymore. You're more like, oh, a nice child, whatever. So my mum didn't realize I was using that meaning for cute, and she said, "No, Sean, you're not cute. You're whatever, such and such." And then I was like, "Oh, so basically, that means I'm not attractive. I'm not. Girls don't like me." So that was the start of my low self-esteem, I guess. It took me 22 years to get over that. Around about 30, I started to let go of the idea that I'm unattractive or whatever. But yeah, up until that point, I lived as though with the belief that I was unattractive, and it really changed how I showed up in the world. It changed the beliefs I had about myself, the opportunities I would take or not take. So it definitely changed a lot, my perception of myself. And I'd say it is important to to like yourself. I mean, I think that beauty mostly does come from confidence and self-belief, because if I look at myself 10 years ago or 8 years ago, I look like a mess, and I'm just so not confident. I'm so, I've read my journal from around that time, and I just fucking hated myself. I really hated, like hatred towards myself, and you can see that in my facial expression, and that doesn't look nice. And I do believe that, no matter what your bone structure is, if you feel good about yourself, you're going to take good care of yourself. You're going to look better. You're going to feel better. You're going to be radiating that energy outwards. And so I believe that most people can look pretty attractive. And it's all about self-acceptance and, hey, still working, loving yourself, as cheesy as that sounds. A big part of it for me was doing my Vipassana retreat. I remember that just spending 10 days meditating and focusing on myself, on my inner world, meditating, focusing on the sensations in my body. That did something with me. That's going to have to be a topic for another day. Let's see. I might post this just for fun. Let's see what happens. I don't know if you can even post a reel 24 minutes. Who's going to watch that shit? Let's do it anyway, though. See what happens.